What's up, everyone? What is happening? Okay, this video I would like to talk about the shooting that happened in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia yesterday. The shooter who shot and wounded like six cops. Six cops are there. They suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Thankfully, they'll be okay. The shooter, according to the district attorney in Philadelphia, never should have been allowed on the streets. He was a felon. He should never have been allowed on the street to even handle a gun. He has something like a 12-page arrest record in the report. Crimes ranging from aggravated assaults to weapons charges, robberies, or something with taunting a police dog or police animal. I don't know exactly what that meant or what he was doing. Would he give a police horse the finger or something? I don't know what that means. But he has a long rap sheet. I believe he had at least one felony, if not multiple felonies, on his record. According to the DA's office, he shouldn't have been allowed on the streets. So with that being said, why was he on the streets? That's really what this video is about. You see, this is a thing with the Democrats right now. They feel the only way they can fix this, the disproportionate amount of black men versus white men in the incarceration rate, is to have an early release and let the black criminals, I guess is pretty much what they're saying, back on the street to try to even the numbers up somehow if they can. This preferential treatment is a treatment, a policy on race. It is a race policy. It's almost like an affirmative action of some sort, right? It is a preferential treatment based on race, making this just yet another instance, another incident, showing that the Democrats, their policies, their ideas, everything about them stem from race. Everything is race, gender, sexuality. That's it. That is, their whole idea. And the reason why I think that, I don't want to get too deep into it, but the reason why I think that is I think they substituted the whole workers versus owners class, and they made it more of a race thing. They couldn't win the proletariat versus bourgeoisie war, so they went to race. I think that's exactly what it is, but that's not what this video is about. Now, in Philadelphia, much like Brooklyn, here in Brooklyn, you can get arrested for pretty serious crimes. And a lot of times it's a slap on the wrist because we're very, 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 liberal here. Our court systems, very liberal court systems. And we kind of let you go to slap on the wrist. It's like, oh, what did they do? Oh, they you beat someone, robbed someone, beat them up. And it's like, all right, you end up doing like community service or something like that. Now, most of the times with robbery, you're in a lot of trouble, but you're not in that much trouble considering, compared to other states. Now, in Pennsylvania, Virginia, Texas, even in Long Island, here in New York City, outside of New York City, New York State, I should say, you're in a lot of trouble for a robbery. You're in a lot of trouble. I mean, you're looking at doing big times even for a first offense. Pennsylvania is not a state that plays games. You don't want to play around with Pennsylvania. You don't want to get arrested in Pennsylvania. But in Philadelphia, it's perfectly fine to get arrested because it is a liberal city. It is a city ran by Democrats, as usual, like all cities, Baltimore, Chicago, all through California, every Detroit, everywhere you go with a liberal city, you have a lot of crime. And then you have these backwoods laws that they think are going to be helpful, but they're not. They're actually harmful. They actually cause more harm than what they're worth. Now, how this comes down to race is, something that's just not fair is that if I moved to Pennsylvania, or if I moved to Long Island, Nassau County, or Suffolk County, and I commit a crime knowing that, these are counties or areas or whatever neighborhoods, whatever you want to call it, that are majority white, and they're very tough on crime. And if I go there and I commit a crime, I can go to jail and go to jail for a very long time. I won't be able to say, that I'm being mistreated in any way because of the color of my skin. That won't be a defense I would have. I won't be able to use that. But if you get arrested, in some places like Pennsylvania and New York and Chicago and stuff like that, and you happen to be a person of color, you have a certain policy that might release you on early release, or you just won't do as much time as I would do moving to the counties that I just mentioned. So this is in a sense, I understand that these are two different counties. I understand that these are two different locations, two different places, and they set two different rules and such. In one area, they determined that, if you're going to live here, you have to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, we are going to come down on you pretty hard. Where the other area is like, okay, we're going to go easy on you. Okay, granted, you can't really compare them in that way because you have different people, different mind state, people advocating for different things. Some areas they want to keep law and order. Other areas they're a lot liberal in that case. But the problem is clearly when you talk about anything, a disparity between the two groups, you have one right here where a certain group can get out on early release based on the color of their skin. Plain and simple. You're not letting everyone out on early release. You're letting a certain group out because you're trying to, in their defense, I guess they think they're doing the right thing and they're trying to help people out and try to give people a second chance because they have such a good heart. But good intentions. But what do they say that hell, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and this is exactly a classic example of that. This man should have been in prison. He should not have been free. Should not have been on the streets. I mean, they were executing a drug warrant on him. I mean, that right there tells you that this is a person that will not stop committing crimes. You can see how he reacted to this, not very rationally, right? He shot how many rounds? I mean, he had an arsenal of rounds at least. I don't know how many guns he had. And he opened fire, and it turned out to be, a standoff with the police that lasted quite a few hours. That could have been avoided if we were tougher on crime and if we realized that the incarceration rate is not what it is because of skin color. Assuming that that's what it is. And this is what the Democrats do. They assume that the incarceration rate within the black community is disproportionately higher than in the white community because of racism. No, it's not because of racism, and this is this is the evidence of it. They went to execute a narcotic warrant on him, or at least on the house that he was in, and he wasn't trying to give up, and he pulled out I don't know if it was AR-15 or AK-47 or whatever the case may be, and he had a shootout with the cops. 6 cops were injured, and he put so many lives in danger, including his own. This right here is proof that this has nothing to do with race. This has everything to do with the behavior or the culture of the people that are committing acts like this, not about race. And the more and more that we tippy-toe around the issue, and one thing with Republicans is that they're afraid. It's a member of the right like me that will say what I'm saying now and make a video about it and put it out there. But the Republican Party won't stand up and say something about this. They won't dare, cross that line and say, this is not about race and this early release nonsense for people with multiple felonies. It's stupid and it's actually working against us and it's causing more harm than good. These people deserve to be in jail, in a lot of cases for the rest of their life. Plain and simple. We don't care about, you pushing some narrative of race. Enough already. Lock these people up. They're afraid to say that because the Republicans are afraid to be called racist, so they kind of cower. They cower in their corner with their tail between their legs, afraid to speak out against policies like this. And then in a lot of cities, there's actually nothing that can be done because it is a democratically ran city, so there's no way of speaking out and stopping that. There's nothing you can do. It is what it is, and it happens. But still, Republicans are afraid to stand up to the Democrats. They let this go, and the Democrats are just running amok. That's it, plain and simple, with yet another policy, revolving around race that's actually more harmful than it is good. And that's that. And then, at the end, when all of this turns to hell, they will turn around and blame Trump and the NRA. That's exactly what they're actually doing right now, by the way. They're blaming Trump and the NRA and the rights to bear arms is at fault for this. Not their shitty policy, not the fact that this man never should have been on the street in the first place. No, they're blaming the NRA, they're blaming the Second Amendment, and then they're blaming Trump. Go figure. These Democrats never, ever, they never learn. And Republicans, you need to, really, we need to grow you guys need to grow a backbone. I have mine. I'm saying what I feel I have to say. It's time that the Republicans stand up and do the same. All right, that's all I have about this video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, help me grow my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.